Hello Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today with another sketch inspired layout. This is the layout that I am sharing with you based on Allison Davis's 6x6 paper pad sketch. So Allison's sketch has 1.5-inch squares, kind of like a quilt, on a diagonal all the way across the page. And also in the sketch, she has a really thin 1/4-inch stripe at the top and the bottom as a header and footer, along with two 3x5 by 2x5 photos slap bang in the center, but sort of more inclined towards the bottom. So one of the things that I have struggled with in this class is I like white space, and Allison sketches don't call for a lot of white space. They are very, very busy. So I am going to make this my own, again, as I have with most of the sketches, and I am actually using a 6x6 paper pad. So this is a paper pad from Echo Park. It's called Flower Market is the name of the collection. So this is back from 2019, so I am doing some stash bashing here. You can see that pretty there is from Heidi Swap. So just tried to, I will work with a collection when I have the collection, but I do like to make it my own and throw things in from my stash if I am not directly scrapbooking for a particular company. So I have cut all of my 1.5-inch squares. You can see those going down the right hand side there. And I did skip past part of that because it's pretty easy. You cut a 1.5-inch strip, and then you cut each of those strips into 1.5-inch squares. And instead of the striped header and footer, I am going with that hot pink sort of red at the top, and then this black down the bottom. The black strip down the bottom, or what I call a footer, says, "Be yourself, life is too short to be someone else." And the reason I wanted to incorporate this quote is because these two photos are of my daughter at Sephora. We had gone on a fun gals day shopping at the mall, and one of the places that she wanted to go to was Sephora in order to get some concealer for her face to cover up the acne. And as a non-acne plagued mom, I felt bad that she had to ask me for that, because normally those are things, that moms would suggest to their children, but it just didn't even occur to me that that might be something that she wanted. So I wanted the title to be Pretty Foundation, and that's why I wanted the quote at the bottom, because no matter who you are beautiful, and it doesn't matter what you do to your face, skin, clothing, you are beautiful. And that was sort of the point of this layout. But I did want to document this because it's a big moment in a teen's life. So as I was cutting that mint-based floral, the one that's the 4th square down, I realized that there was a really cool sort of peachy strip on the B side, and I wanted that on the diagonal. So you saw me sort of attempting to make that more of a, to make it a square, and so it took a little bit longer to do that because I had to do some math. So I'm going to go ahead and lay the squares down, and in Allison's sketch they are all touching, or kissing as I like to call them. And so you can see I drew a line down so that I got all of the top tips squared up, and then I decided I don't like that. It's very uniform, and so I decided that every other row I was going to shift them so halfway. And that way, so I can't stitch the way that she has stitched on them in her sketch, but I wasn't going to do that anyway. I love Allison's hand stitching. I love the look of the hand stitching, but lately I have been so busy that I don't have time for that. And so that is not a priority for me, and that these are my pages, so that's what I choose to do. I was going to stitch, but I wasn't going to stitch around the squares or in rectangles as it is. I was going to do some very simple stitching and machine stitching, which I will get to and you will see later on in the video. So I'm lining up all the squares. I'm trying to work with a mix of the pinky peachy colors, as well as the mint colors, as well as the floral and that black stripe. And I'm trying to get a balance between the darks and the lights because I do very much have both of those in there. And I am confining this to predominantly the right hand side of the page. Again, I like my white space, and this is the way that I was going to get the white space that I like. I felt like there wasn't enough dominant pink in there, and so I went with the same color that's in my header, that hot red, sort of reddy pink, and pulled that in, and you can see how that brightens it up a lot and gives you a little bit more balanced weight between the darks and the lights in this collection. That is actually a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper and does not exist in the actually, does it? I think it does, but I'm using the 12 by 12 piece because I knew I wanted that strip and I had already cut into that. So you can see that top square on the right hand side is going off the page. That is intentional. I had wanted something to come down again off the bottom of the page, but that is not going to work. But that's okay because it does at least cut into the footer, that black footer that I've got there. And to get anything off the page meant that I would have had to have covered up the phrase that I have down there, which I did not want to do. So I really liked the way that that black and white stripe mimicked the black and white stripe that's in the column in that right hand side photo there. I really wanted this piece of 6 by 6 paper to frame the photos. And it's too square. There's too much of a, I'm working on a white background and this is a cream background, so I thought, well, maybe if I just use a little bit of the floral at the bottom or the top of the photos to kind of create a photo mat, that would work. But it just, again, I think what I struggled with was that cream background against the white. And I don't mind cream and white together, but because everything else is more white based, it competed in my mind. So I have these goodies. It says LA Studio, but they're actually things from Citrus Twist Kits. When you order the albums, they often send goodies with the albums, and so that was packaging that I had actually had left around, laying around, and so I just stuffed things in there. So you can see I have that square with a rounded corner, sort of like the label that I really want to incorporate into the page, only I've got a really nice color balance here, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. So I thought the solution to that floral would be to cut it as the same size as the photos, which is generally a 3 by 4, but then that covers up too much of the photo, and you can see that empty space that is left between the photo and my square grid. And so you see me literally chuck that aside. That is a piece of chipboard that's at the top right there, and it says Naturally Beautiful, which is only fitting for this topic. With the two photos, I like to have sometimes one slightly pop up from the other, so I'm just using some of my Thermo Web foam to get that accomplished. Again, it's a very subtle pop. It's nowhere near the depth of the foam that I use, which is, what is that, 1/16 of an inch, I think. So these are very minimally raised. So now I have the foundation of the page and I want to get my embellishments on there. So I have all of the embellishments from this Flower Market collection. I'm going to use those two chipboard pieces. That one floral that I'm holding there is going to anchor down pretty. And then I need to anchor it on the right hand side, but I've got at least one place where that's going to anchor it. Allison is using hearts as her embellishments, and she's got that top right, the middle of the two photos, just like I have a few at the where I've got pretty, and I'm going to write in foundation is going to be the title, and that's where she's got her title. So, and then the floral where I've got my floral to the left of the title, and then she's got a little bit of embellishment on at the end of the title, which I am not going to do. But I do want to have, so this is where I've stitched, so you can see the 3 black lines down those 3 squares there, as well as I stitched down the outside or the side of that yellow label there. So there is a little bit of yellow, subtle yellow in the floral, so the mint floral, and so I want to pull just a tad more yellow into it just to add a little bit. I like that punctuation of color, that subtle punctuation there. So I'm taking embellishments and I'm going to fill some of the squares. I'm going to have a variety of shapes, banners, bows, all sorts of things in there. Some I'm going to pop. Some don't need popping because you've got that chipboard that's there. So it's still a very busy page, but you've kind of got the calm of the white space on the left-hand side that just provides balance to that busyness on the right hand side there. So just a little bit, I call this a thread ball behind that phrase there, and the phrase says enjoy your life. I am going to off camera take a black framed label and put that there, and you'll see in the close-ups that it says Clinique. I need to get the name from her of what it was, the product that we ended up choosing for her. And then I'm just going to mix a collection of the stickers and the different chipboard pieces in amongst those squares. I will also use, I found some gold foiled things. One had a little heart and a arrow. I'm going to use those again just for a little bit of that shimmer. I like shimmer in my pages. I don't like a ton of it, but I do like a little bit, and this was the way to pull that in there. So here I am with this piece again, and it ends up staying there. I will cover up part of it with that Naturally Beautiful. I put it away because I'm not sure where I like it, but it ends up fitting with that particular piece up there. This is a bow from my stash from American Crafts, and it comes on foam. I don't like things that are popped way too high. I feel like they're skyscrapers standing on my page. They're also really hard to put into page protectors and not ruin the opposite page. So I pull the foam off, and I'm just using my Ultra Bond to stick that down. Sprinkled hearts amongst the center of the squares. They're really diamonds, squares on an angle, diamond. And I've got some hearts sprinkled in there just for consistency. I thought maybe that would look better without the square there, but you really needed that mint to tie into the rest of the page for the balance. I'm going to trim off the top here, and that is pretty much the embellishments, but I really wanted to get that Naturally Beautiful on there because it resonated with me and the theme of the layout. So I decided that with that particular Citrus Twist journaling label that would work nicely and close off that gap in there and kind of be part of the header. You can mold that into the header and provides a little bit more of that mint at the top because it does coordinate. You can see I really wanted it to be underneath or over the photo, kind of framing the photo, but it wasn't going to work there, and so that by putting it up the top there, I was able to get that to work. So off camera, I'm going to put in a few of those gold pieces, and that, my friends, is going to wrap it up. So again, this is a sketch inspired layout. I am stash bashing using my old Echo Park from Flower Market from when I designed for them, and that wraps it up. I am going to journal, you can see there off camera, just at the bottom underneath, and complete the title also in my handwriting. So enjoy the close-ups. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. If you are participating in this class as well, I would love to see what it is that you've created as well. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.